Welcome to the Scranton Area Community Foundation Annual Community Celebration. Please welcome the Chairman of the Board, Kenneth Okrepke.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me take this moment to welcome you to the 2020 Scranton Area Community Foundation's Annual Celebration. On behalf of the Board of Governors, it gives me great pleasure to thank you for joining us as part of tonight's virtual celebration. I'd like to take a moment to thank tonight's sponsors. The presenting sponsor is the Harry and Jeanette Weinberg Foundation. Our dignitary sponsors include the PNC Foundation, the Tige Foundation, and Posture Interactive. Our ambassador sponsors include PDQ, Geisinger, Michael and Donna Barbetti, and the benefactor sponsor is McGrail, Merkel, and Quinn, and our sustainer sponsors are Joyce Insurance and Janie. When history retells the story of 2020, no doubt it will feature an election, a pandemic, and a country strained by a global shutdown. But it is my hope that it will be more gloriously remembered for neighbors helping neighbors, like when Scranton's Mayor Paige Cognetti put the wheels in motion for the Heart of Scranton virtual fundraiser that resulted in hundreds of our fellow citizens raising hundreds of thousands of dollars to put 50,000 meals on the tables of local families experiencing hunger. And may it be featured as the year that we took significant steps forward to close the gender and racial divide. As you watch our year in review tonight, and when we recognize funds and individuals, I expect that you will pause for a moment and realize there is much to celebrate. There is hope on the horizon, and that when presented with adversity, know that our community will always respond with a warm heart and a charitable mind. I want to take this moment to also thank our Board of Governors for their wisdom and guidance as they continue to be good stewards of your philanthropic generosity. Specifically, thank you to Barbara O'Hara, Ellen Berkey, Alan Hughes, David Price, Donna Barbetti, Rosemary Broderick, Ida Castro, James Clemente, Christopher DiMatteo, Tom Donahue, Katie Gilmartin, Bill Joyce, Dominic Keating, Bobby Lynette, Jerry Mushno, Marla Scranton, and Jack Tige. Your service to our organization is greatly appreciated. And finally, thank you to the foundation staff. In March, they had only a few days' notice, and like most of us, they grabbed their laptops and important files and left the office for what we all had hoped would only be a short stint working remotely. This team didn't miss a beat, and our foundation was one of the first foundations in the country to react by setting up a COVID fund. In this year alone, we provided 789 grants to support 463 charitable programs in northeastern Pennsylvania, totaling well over $3.5 million. So I encourage you to sit back, relax, and enjoy tonight's program. And with that, it gives me great pleasure to welcome Laura Gichesi, President and CEO for the Scranton Area Community Foundation.
Thank you, Ken, and good evening, everyone. We're grateful to all of you who are joining us this evening for our annual community celebration. While we're celebrating virtually this year, we're still celebrating together live, with so many of us tuned in to share the spirit of community philanthropy. I want to remind you that there is a chat feature so you can connect and share your congratulations to award recipients and comments throughout the evening. A trusted community resource and steward since 1954, the Scranton Area Community Foundation was established with a $1 million bequest from the Scranton family, and to date manages over 250 individual charitable funds and 2 private foundations. The foundation's mission is to serve as a grant maker, a catalyst, a convener, and a charitable partner, and we're committed to enhancing the quality of life for our communities, our friends, and our neighbors in the Lackawanna County region. The foundation's dedication to serving the needs of our regional charitable organizations was really evident this year in 2020 through the work of the NEPA COVID-19 Response Fund, the inaugural NEPA Gives initiative, the Heart of Scranton Virtual Fundraiser Fund, and the activities through the Center for Community Leadership and Nonprofit Excellence, and so many other efforts this year. and our donor-centered philosophy was prevalent as we worked with over 600 individual charitable funds, charitable foundations, businesses, and individuals in our community, while together working to solve our community's collective needs. So as we reflect on this past year's efforts and our accomplishments together, I believe there's a prominent theme that stands out. The Foundation's rapid response to community need through effective, organized philanthropy, and the generous spirit of giving, which is such a trademark of the people of Northeastern Pennsylvania. So let's take a look at the past 11 months of 2020.
The Scranton Area Community Foundation's 66th year serving the region as a grant maker, charitable resource, and catalyst for change and growth was eventful despite all the challenges surrounding the COVID-19 pandemic. Thanks to the generosity of the Foundation's many donors, funds, and community partners, here's a look at the accomplishments and impact the Foundation has had across the Northeastern Pennsylvania region this year. The Scranton Area Community Foundation began 2020 in January by welcoming new board members and by receiving reaccreditation with the highest standard for philanthropic excellence by the National Standards for U.S. Community Foundations, administered by the Council on Foundations. This accreditation is a significant accomplishment that indicates that the Scranton Area Community Foundation demonstrates a commitment to transparency, quality, integrity, and accountability as it carries out its mission of creating charitable connections and improving the life for all people across the region. In 2020, the Scranton Area Community Foundation welcomed over 20 new charitable funds, established by people who want to make a difference and leave a lasting legacy. These funds are already making a difference in the lives of so many across the Northeastern Pennsylvania region. Serving as a community convener and catalyst for change and growth. In February, the Scranton Area Community Foundation finished a series of community roundtable discussions that began in 2019 and that took a deeper look at some of the challenges facing the region, including food insecurity, animal welfare, reintegration, civic engagement, and affordable opportunity housing. The Foundation released its 2020 Community Roundtable Report, providing a basic blueprint for philanthropic possibilities and opportunities. The Foundation works every day in conjunction with donors, partnering foundations, and community leaders to inform and guide regional progress. And its latest Roundtable Report shares timely information and ideas on how to address critical needs in the community. When the COVID-19 pandemic impacted the region in mid-March, the Scranton Area Community Foundation Board of Governors responded by immediately establishing one of the very first COVID-19 response funds in the nation and worked in conjunction with foundation leadership to successfully raise and distribute over $1 million to 150 charitable organizations ranging from food insecurity to personal protective equipment to emergency childcare. This funding was distributed in 6 grant-making rounds over 3 months, meeting to support critical needs during the crisis. Additionally, from March through the summer, the Foundation made sure that charitable organizations were able to continue their professional development through the pandemic by hosting a series of online seminars through its Center for Community Leadership and Nonprofit Excellence. These webinars featured training programs on crisis management, sustainability planning, virtual fundraising, and more. The Foundation also established a nonprofit resources Google group, a network which allowed nonprofits to connect with each other and quickly respond to the changing needs of our communities during unprecedented times. The COVID-19 pandemic has certainly created many challenges across the nation. But in Northeastern Pennsylvania, the Scranton Area Community Foundation was able to help bring support to the communities it serves during the most difficult times because of the generosity of loyal donors and generous supporters. In May, Scranton Area Community Foundation partnered with Scranton's Mayor, Paige Cognetti, through a widely publicized virtual fundraising event that raised nearly $200,000 in under 48 hours to support food security in Lackawanna County. All donations for this fundraiser went to support CEO Weinberg Northeast Regional Food Bank, Friends of the Poor, and Meals on Wheels of NEPA through the Foundation's NEPA COVID-19 Response Fund. Generous partners including Moses Taylor Foundation, Geisinger, the Harry and Jeanette Weinberg Foundation, and Manuka Subaru, along with the Scranton Area Community Foundation, generously matched all donations for the Heart of Scranton's fundraiser event, Dollar for Dollar. The foundation is grateful for the City of Scranton's partnership on this event. In June, the Scranton Area Community Foundation hosted NEPA Gives, a one-day online giving event that made history as the largest day of giving in Northeast Pennsylvania. NEPA Gives brought together 167 local nonprofit organizations who worked together to collectively raise over $500,000 in just 24 hours. NEPA Gives was hosted by the Scranton Area Community Foundation in partnership with the community foundations in Luzerne, Pike, and Wayne counties, the Northeastern Pennsylvania Nonprofit and Community Assistance Center, NCAC, and other community sponsors to help charitable organizations raise much-needed funds during these challenging times where in-person fundraising could not take place, and to raise awareness about the critical work nonprofits carry out across the region. Over 2,700 donors generously supported NEPA Gives. As a catalyst and change agent, the Scranton Area Community Foundation leads various community initiatives, including Women in Philanthropy, NEPA Moves, the Center for Community Leadership and Nonprofit Excellence, the NEPA Animal Welfare Collaborative, and is in the process of developing an equitable housing coalition. The Women in Philanthropy initiative, which is made up of over 100 active supporters, responded quickly to help women, girls, and their families experiencing hardships resulting from the COVID-19 pandemic this year. Women in Philanthropy established a business relief fund, which gave support to women who owned small businesses in Lackawanna County while they dealt with challenges surrounding COVID-19. Provided COVID-19 relief grants to the Women's Resource Center, Children's Advocacy Center of NEPA, and Outreach Center for Community Resources to meet the need for critical services to help women, girls, and their families. And supported virtual learning through grants to Keystone College, the Northeastern Intermediate Unit, and the Boys and Girls Club. NEPA Moves, the Foundation's collaborative focused on increasing access to equitable transportation, celebrated the announcement by the County of Lackawanna Transit System, COLTS, and the Greater Scranton Chamber of Commerce of a new bus route servicing the Mid-Valley Industrial Park in Jessup. Increasing access to mass transit to regional industrial parks was a key NEPA Moves goal. NEPA Moves, composed of over 100 community partners, continues to work to remove transportation barriers that limit access to affordable housing, job opportunities, educational and cultural opportunities, and quality health care in northeastern Pennsylvania. Through its Center for Community Leadership and Nonprofit Excellence, the Foundation, in partnership with Moses Taylor Foundation and the Harry and Jeanette Weinberg Foundation, hosted the second annual 2020 NEPA Learning Conference in September completely virtually through an online conference platform, offering over 200 nonprofit organizations and professionals across the region an opportunity to receive in-depth training from local and nationally recognized presenters. Attendees of this two-day learning conference had an opportunity to learn, network, and connect virtually with peers and discover how they can create a learning culture within their organization. The conference shared strategies for staying solvent during unprecedented times and taught how to maximize resiliency to thrive during tough times, among other timely topics. The NEPA Animal Welfare Collaborative of the Scranton Area Community Foundation works on initiatives aimed at ensuring animals in northeastern Pennsylvania live a life free from abuse and neglect. With over 40 individuals and organizations in the animal rescue, shelter, and sanctuary community, the collaborative focused on projects that helped pet owners during financial crises and which increased access to veterinary care. The collaborative held 3 pet food pantries this year where it provided food for over 560 pets whose owners needed assistance in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. The Scranton Area Community Foundation distributed over $440,000 in scholarship funds in 2020, benefiting 150 local students from scholarship funds established by generous donors and administered by the foundation, helping to lower the cost of education. Scholarships include the Gary Inspired Me Scholarship, the Matt McGloin Scholarship, the Neil J. Fassila Scholarship, and the James F. Swift Scholarship, among many others. In an effort to create charitable connections, the Scranton Area Community Foundation provides foundation management services to other charitable foundations serving the people of northeastern Pennsylvania and beyond. The foundation administers the Northeastern Pennsylvania Healthcare Foundation and the Robert H. Spitz Foundation. And the Northeastern Pennsylvania Healthcare Foundation announced its Careers in Care initiative earlier this year, a $1.5 million 3-year strategic initiative aimed at supporting and expanding the healthcare workforce in NEPA. The foundation is also continuing its $3.2 million 10-year commitment to the NEPA Healthcare Foundation Scholars Program at the Geisinger Commonwealth School of Medicine. The Robert H. Spitz Foundation committed generous support to help catalyze the NEPA COVID-19 Response Fund this year, and also generously provided over $776,000 in grant funding for 42 organizations for programs which focus on breaking the cycle of poverty, provide services for veterans, support for animal welfare, and for Jewish culture and community. The Robert H. Spitz Foundation, established from the estate of Robert H. Spitz in 2015, has provided over $3 million in funding to the community to date. In the midst of a global pandemic, the Scranton Area Community Foundation has worked with generous charitable donors, philanthropic partners, and nonprofit organizations to expand its reach, create new charitable funds, spearhead community initiatives, and respond to increased community needs. The foundation raised a record-setting $3.6 million to date this year and distributed 789 grants to 463 regional nonprofit organizations in need. None of this would be possible without your generosity. The Scranton Area Community Foundation is grateful to you for continuing a long history of giving in Northeast Pennsylvania and for your support during a year in which giving means so much. On behalf of the Board of Governors, leadership, and staff of the Scranton Area Community Foundation, we thank you.
I believe that truly tells the story of our year at the Scranton Area Community Foundation. Seeing that reminds me that there's so much that we can accomplish together when we work together as a community, even in a very, very difficult year. And it's a refreshing reminder that we live in a generous community with a truly giving spirit. And next, we'll be celebrating that generosity and that giving spirit by honoring our featured community partners and our featured charitable funds. We'll highlight the accomplishments of 3 notable and generous community partners and 4 featured charitable funds who made such an impact this year through philanthropy, and who helped the Scranton Area Community Foundation carry out our important mission. 6 of the 7 awards you'll see tonight are presented by members of the Scranton Area Community Foundation Board of Governors, whose leadership, generosity, guidance, and stewardship are at the heart and soul of the Scranton Area Community Foundation. So let's get started with our awards this evening. The NEPA COVID-19 Response Fund was one of the very first response funds established in the nation to address the needs of charitable organizations facing implications from the pandemic. Established at the Scranton Area Community Foundation, it is a truly successful example of collaborative philanthropy in action. Over a 4-month period, from March through July, over $1.1 million were both raised and distributed to 132 nonprofit organizations facing immense need in northeastern Pennsylvania. Organizations with personal protective equipment to continue to be able to serve their clients during this challenging time, to providing hundreds of meals to those facing economic hardship. The NEPA COVID-19 Fund quickly and effectively addressed the many challenges that were thrust upon our communities during the pandemic. The Scranton Area Community Foundation created and launched the NEPA COVID-19 Response Fund to rapidly deploy responsive resources to community-based nonprofit organizations working with those who are impacted by COVID-19, but it was the numerous foundation, businesses, and the over 400 charitable individuals that responded to this need, who stepped up and so generously committed their resources to this fund, that made the whole difference and changed everything for the communities this year that we're working with. The community response to the NEPA COVID-19 fund was a testament to the philanthropic spirit that exists in northeastern Pennsylvania. We're extremely grateful to the donors and supporters who've enabled us to put $1 million into the hands of 132 worthy charitable organizations who have put it to such important use. Accepting the award for the NEPA COVID-19 Response Fund this evening, on behalf of our many generous contributors, is Scranton Area Community Foundation Board Chairman, Ken Okrepke.
Well, thank you, Laura. And on behalf of the Board of Governors, the Robert H. Spitz Foundation for their significant commitment to this fund, more than 10 foundations, the Greater Scranton Chamber of Commerce, 6 charitable funds, 21 corporate sponsors, and 1 very generous community with a giant heart, I accept this award as a symbol of the nature in which the Greater Scranton area responds when it is called to action. The NEPA COVID-19 Response Fund raised $1.2 million in emergency grant funding in only 4 months, providing support to 132 community-based charitable organizations. If anyone ever tells you that we can't make a difference, remember this moment, because if you supported the COVID-19 fund, you already have. Thank you. I'm honored now to announce our next award, the Community Partner Award to PPL Foundation. The PPL Foundation is committed to powering communities, and during this challenging year, we were incredibly fortunate at the Scranton Area Community Foundation to have a generous support of the PPL Foundation during the coronavirus pandemic. In April, the PPL Foundation was one of the first foundation partners to provide capital to the NEPA COVID-19 Response Fund as part of an overall contribution to relief efforts across central, eastern, and northeastern Pennsylvania. Their contribution was an example of a successful partnership between a corporate foundation and a community foundation that provided immediate critical response to growing community needs. This generous support allowed us to focus on providing grant support to 9 nonprofit organizations, providing services that ranged from early childhood education to healthcare to social services. And to provide a few powerful examples, the funds allowed 2 different organizations to offer several weeks of childcare for essential workers. Funds also supplied personal protective equipment for clients and staff, and new technology devices to implement telehealth and a behavioral health center. These are just a few of the many examples. We are grateful for the support from PPL, who have once again demonstrated their commitment to sustainability and healthy communities. Accepting the award tonight is Alana Roberts, Regional Affairs Director at PPL.
Hi, Ken. It's great to see you, and it's great to hear about those powerful examples. On behalf of everyone at PPL Electric Utilities and the PPL Foundation, we're very pleased to receive this recognition this evening. We are the electric company in the electric city, but we serve in total 1.4 million customers in 29 counties in Pennsylvania. And those customers rely on us to do one thing really well, and that is provide safe and reliable electricity. And we've been doing that for 100 years. This is an anniversary year for us. What a year for an anniversary, but this is our 100th anniversary. So through those years, we've become a part of the communities that we serve because we have a touch point with every home, every small business, every large manufacturer, every dance studio, every little league field. And through that, we've become corporate citizens. And we feel that it's really important to support the nonprofits and other organizations that are working in those communities to make them better places to live, work, and play. So this year has been different. We all know that this year started off as any other, and almost overnight we found ourselves working at home and learning at home for our students. And so reliable electricity for at home to be able to do those things became critically important. But we also, as an essential business, needed to adjust in order to provide that electricity and also keep our workers safe. And I would say we're continuing to adjust just as you all are. It was not just one adjustment. It continues to be something that we have to do. But we never lost sight of the fact that our customers were also adjusting to possible unemployment and difficulty paying bills. And so almost immediately in March, we made some changes. We stopped shutting off customers for non-payment. We stopped charging late fees for bills. And we made a $500,000 contribution to our Operation Help Fund. And that's our internal fund that allows customers to get help with their electric bill. So it is an income eligible program, but we were even able to get that income level a little bit higher. Moved up a little bit so that more customers would be eligible. So again, $500,000 contribution to that fund. And as organizations throughout our 29 county service territory began creating COVID relief funds, such as Scranton Area Community Foundations, which was one of the first, we knew that would be a way that we could inject some dollars in the community for nonprofits that really needed the funding to be able to continue or to make up for fundraising that they weren't going to be able to do and still be viable. So we made a contribution at that point, an additional $300,000 to those probably 8 or 9 different funding agencies throughout the community. And you heard about the powerful examples that those dollars were able to bring to Scranton and the surrounding area, which we are so, so proud of. So what we'll continue to do now through the PPL Foundation is offer funding and support, because we are not through this pandemic yet, not by far, and the lingering effects are to be seen next year and 2 years beyond. And so we'll continue to offer funding through the PPL Foundation. We'll continue to offer programs through our customers so that they're able to pay their bill. And just as you expect us to continue to provide safe and reliable electricity to all of our customers. And hopefully we can do that for another 100 years. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Marilyn Scranton, and I'm on the Board of Governors of the Scranton Area Foundation. And I had the distinct honor tonight and pleasure of presenting the Heart of Scranton Award to Mayor Paige Cognetti and the City of Scranton. When 2020 arrived, no one could have imagined what kind of year it was going to be. When COVID-19 hit our region, and the stay-at-home order in Pennsylvania turned from days to months, and more people in our community were dealing with lost wages, Scranton and the surrounding areas saw an increase in those struggling to feed themselves and their families. In response, Mayor Paige Cognetti and the City of Scranton partnered with the Scranton Area Community Foundation to create the Heart of Scranton Fund. Mayor Cognetti championed this virtual fundraiser with the goal of helping to address the critical issue of food insecurity. On April 30th, 2020, Mayor Cognetti co-hosted an hour-long fundraising event with Scranton Area President and CEO Laura Ciccesi, which featured very talented special guests on Electric City TV's YouTube station and Channel 19. Partnering with the Scranton Area Community Foundation's COVID-19 Response Fund, the Heart of Scranton raised over $190,000, including matching funds from the Moses Taylor Foundation, Geisinger, the Harry and Jeanette Weinberg Foundation, the Scranton Area Community Foundation, and Manuka Subaru. All donations for this fundraiser supported the Commission on Economic Opportunity, Weinberg Northeast Regional Food Bank, Friends of the Poor, and Meals on Wheels of Northeastern Pennsylvania. All monies remained local. Mayor Cognetti, I'd like to thank you for putting your trust in our foundation. As a partner, for your leadership in quickly recognizing the problem and stepping up for the people of our area, particularly those in Scranton. So Paige, on behalf of the Scranton Area Foundation, their Board of Governors, incredible staff, we are honored to present to you tonight the Heart of Scranton Award.
Thank you so much, Marilla. It's great to see you. Thank you, Laura, and the entire Scranton Area Community Foundation. I certainly didn't expect this, but it's nice to be able to celebrate a little bit the things that we have achieved together as a community this year. And I stand here sorry that we've had to be in this position, but so grateful for our entire community, all of the community organizations like yours, everyone out there who generously donates their time, their hard-earned money, and their empathy in this difficult year. Every day in this pandemic, it's been clear that there's a tremendous amount of need in our community. That need was already here and we were aware of it. And you at the Scranton Area Community Foundation certainly were aware of it. But as this economic crisis has gone on during this public health crisis, it's gotten worse. And there's a lot of hard work yet to do. And we're still wearing masks. We're still worried about the pandemic. We still have a long way to go and a long way until our economy recovers. So it's my privilege as mayor of Scranton to be able to continue to work with you all at the foundation, to work with all of our community partners to make sure all Scranton residents have the food they need, have the care they need, have the resources they need to thrive. So thank you very, very much. And I really appreciate this.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dave Price, and I'm on the Board of Governors of the Scranton Area Community Foundation. I'm honored to be here this evening to present the Scranton Area Community Foundation's Community Partner Award to the Robert H. Spitz Foundation. You know, in this year of unprecedented community need, the trustees of the Robert H. Spitz Foundation was the very first foundation, along with the Scranton Area Community Foundation, to fund the NEPA COVID-19 Response Fund, providing $50,000 to help seed the fund, and in addition, to commit an additional $50,000 3 months later. The Robert H. Spitz Foundation was established in 2015 from the estate of Mr. Robert Spitz, who was born in Scranton, a graduate of Scranton Central High School in 1955. Honoring Mr. Spitz's interest and values, the foundation's priority areas of funding include programs that aim to break the cycle of poverty, Veterans Affairs, and veterans-oriented programs, animal welfare, and Jewish culture, heritage, and community. Grants awarded by the Spitz Foundation have been incredibly significant to this area, particularly in the year of COVID-19. This year's grant cycle awarded $776,000 to 42 organizations. With me this evening is Jack Nogi, who is accepting the award on behalf of the Foundation's trustee for continuing Mr. Spitz's legacy in Northeastern Pennsylvania. Jack, we thank you for your commitment to the needs of Lackawanna County region. Thank you.
Dave, thank you very much. On behalf of the Robert H. Spitz Charitable Foundation, we greatly appreciate this award. I speak on behalf of myself as well as the other trustees of the Robert H. Spitz Foundation. We only hope we can continue to work with the area and particularly the Scranton Area Foundation to make additional contributions that will be for the benefit of the community and the individuals, for all the individuals in the area who are in need of assistance. We have in the past and we intend to continue in the future to make contributions that will be of assistance to multiple entities in the area. But none of this could have been done without the aid and assistance of the Scranton Area Foundation, and together we look forward to a very promising and successful future.
The Harry and Jeanette Weinberg Foundation is celebrating 30 years of giving. In 2020, the foundation will provide approximately $130 million in grant activity supporting nonprofits, which provide direct services in the areas of housing, health, jobs, education, and community services. Grants support organizations that serve a range of populations, including older adults, women and children at risk, people with disabilities, and veterans, as well as the Jewish community. To learn more, visit hjweinbergfoundation.org. The Tig Foundation is honored to celebrate with our community this evening. Congratulations to tonight's honorees and the Scranton Area Community Foundation for a successful year of community philanthropy. Congratulations to tonight's honorees, and thank you for your generous support of our community. Michael and Donna Barbetti. Geisinger. Long live everyone. PDQ, Northeastern PA's leader in digital print, fulfillment, and direct mail marketing. Posture Interactive, web development, graphic design, video production. GetPosture.com. McGrail Merkle Quinn and Associates.
Hi, my name is Jerry Mushno, and I'm a board member of the Scranton Area Foundation. And I'm very excited to be able to present this award this evening. The Gelb Family Foundation was originally established as a private family foundation, but in October of 2015, the trustees, Sandra Myers and Beverly Gelb Klein, made the decision to convert the foundation to a donor-advised fund at the Scranton Area Community Foundation. In addition to the original trustees, an additional 12 descendants of the Gelb family serve as grant advisors to the fund. In the 5 years that the Gelb Family Foundation has been with the Scranton Area Foundation, they have distributed over $200,000 in grants to 50 charitable organizations. Grantees of the fund include the Jewish Family Service of Northeastern Pennsylvania, the Jewish Federation of Northeastern Pennsylvania, New Israel Fund, and the United Way of Lackawanna and Wayne counties, and Hadassah. Since the pandemic struck in March of this year, the Gelb Family Foundation has answered the call to help our community in need. To date, this year, the fund has distributed nearly $30,000 to 19 organizations or charitable funds, including their early support to both the NEPA COVID-19 Response Fund, the Heart of Scranton Virtual Fundraiser Fund, and NEPA Gives. Sandra and Beverly understood the important role that philanthropy could play in addressing this crisis, and they were quick to respond. For their unending generosity and commitment to the community, we want to acknowledge the good work of the Gelb Family Foundation Fund this year. Sandra, it is my distinct pleasure to present you with this award this evening.
I'm honored to accept this wonderful award from the Scranton Area Community Foundation. I'm with the Gelb Foundation. I'm Sandra Gelb Myers. And it says here, 2020 Featured Fund Award presented to the Gelb Foundation Fund for enhancing the quality of life in our community. And I'm very proud to have this. Thank you.
I'm Barbara O'Hara, and I'm on the Board of Directors of the Scranton Area Foundation, and I am proud to be honoring the Women's Whistle Stop Scranton Fund this afternoon. 3 years ago, a group of energetic and determined women came together to begin planning a large community celebration that would take place at the Steamtown National Historic Site. This celebration would honor the women who fought for the 19th Amendment, the women's right to vote, and celebrate the century of progress since then, all while raising money for women and girls in northeastern Pennsylvania. The event would also include a national race car envoy with women in the driver's seat on a journey to Seneca Falls, New York, the birthplace of women's suffrage. Since its beginnings 3 years ago, Women's Whistle Stop Scranton has evolved beyond one event to providing civil engagement training and voter registration education. While the large event had to be postponed due to COVID-19, Women's Whistle Stop Scranton hasn't let that dampen the spirit with which they originally joined together. Susan Beelan, founding member and tireless champion of Women's Whistle Stop Scranton, as well as co-chair of Women in Philanthropy for the last 6 years, recently announced that the fund would donate approximately $30,000 to the Scranton Area Foundation's Women in Philanthropy initiative to help foster civic engagement and advocacy. As a founding member of Women in Philanthropy myself, I would like to thank Susan and the Women's Whistle Stop for supporting women and girls in our community while honoring the individuals who fought for women's suffrage 100 years ago. We look forward to celebrating with you in 2021. Congratulations, Susan.
Thank you, Barbara, and congratulations to all the award winners tonight. I am honored to be with you. And I am especially honored to be able to receive an award for something I have had so much fun doing and for which I have had an incredibly dedicated, committed, creative group of women supporting me all the way. Both Women in Philanthropy and Women's Whistle Stop are near and dear to my heart. I believe they both will have a lasting impact and a positive impact on the lives of women and girls throughout our community. Thanks to all at Scranton Area Community Foundation, and especially to the volunteers, the many volunteers who have made both Women in Philanthropy and Women's Whistle Stop possible. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Katie Gilmartin, proud to serve on the Board of Governors of the Scranton Area Community Foundation. This year, we're honoring Kathleen Graff with the Community Partner Award. Kathleen served on the Board of Governors of the Foundation through December of 2018, serving as board chair in 2014. During her tenure on the board, Kathleen and her family established the Margreta Beelan Chamberlain Award Fund, which honors a dynamic woman in the community in honor of her mother, and the Margreta Beelan Chamberlain Fund, which is a donor-designated fund that supports arts and education for youth through the Scranton Cultural Center. Kathleen has served on the Grants Distribution Committee at the Scranton Area Community Foundation, and she currently serves on the Scholarship Committee. She is also a founding member of Women in Philanthropy. Kathleen is a generous philanthropist to the Scranton Area Community Foundation and also to many charitable organizations in the community in the areas of the environment, social justice, the arts, and many, many others. She is a member of the advisory board of the foundation and serves as an effective ambassador for the foundation. She is willing to step up and support issues in the community that matter and gives generously of her time. She has generously supported the foundation in a number of ways, continuously to the Community Needs Fund for nearly 25 years, and to Women in Philanthropy, Women's Whistle Stop, and most recently to the NEPA COVID Response Fund. Thank you, Kathleen, for all that you do.
Hello, thank you very, very much for this award. I am truly honored to have been selected to receive it and to become even more motivated to try to continue to serve in this community. The Scranton Area Foundation has provided incredible leadership. The board, the volunteers, the staff have grown enormously since I served on the board a few years ago. And it is really incredibly moving to be able to participate in such a generous and active reach out into the community, particularly this year. So I'm honored. I thank you. You all at the foundation become models, and I'm happy to walk in your footsteps anytime you ask. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Kathleen. And congratulations to all of our award recipients this evening, and thank you for all that you do in our communities. Let's give a round of applause to all of our honorees this evening. In a difficult year, there's a lot to celebrate. And as we begin to close out 2020, we want to celebrate and acknowledge one of our members of the Board of Governors at the Scranton Area Community Foundation, who this year is completing 10 years of service and leadership, Rosemary Broderick. From 2010 through 2020, this year, Rosemary has contributed so much to the Scranton Area Community Foundation: time, talent, philanthropic support, and strategic vision. When I came to the foundation as president and CEO in 2012, Rosemary served as chair of the Legacy Committee, helping to tailor our restricted charitable fund offering to donors' needs and advance the concept of sustainable endowments as an asset for nonprofit organizations. She was an integral part in helping the foundation to increase our philanthropic reach and to establish important partnerships and relationships. Rosemary served on the grant-making committee, the governance committee, and in many other modes of service at the foundation. And most recently, Rosemary served for 2 years, 2018 and 2019, as chair of the board of the foundation, leading us through a period of growth and expansion. Always understanding the importance of a donor-centered approach, Rosemary's leadership displayed a hallmark of innovation and vision while always remaining mission-driven. Rose helped to build the Women in Philanthropy Initiative along with Susan Beelan and our other founding members, and has served as co-chair from its inception of 2014 through the present. She helped to drive the strategy of transformative change in areas that impact women and girls. Rose has led by example, and she and her husband, Don Broderick, have generally supported and championed philanthropic giving through their own donor-advised fund at the foundation and through giving to the Unrestricted Community Needs Fund. Both Don and Rose have generously given to many organizations in our region and have demonstrated the qualities of service in their personal and professional lives. While Rosemary is unable to join us this evening due to conflicting family obligations, she wanted to be sure to share her remarks with us. Rose, we thank you for 10 years of committed board service, for your leadership and stewardship at the Scranton Area Community Foundation. And thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight and for sharing with us in this celebration of community philanthropy. This year, we are as grateful as ever for your generous support, which has allowed us to continue to meet the ever-increasing needs of people in our communities. Despite the obstacles that we've all faced in 2020, with your help, your generosity, and your commitment, we've pushed forward with new initiatives and we've responded to the increasing critical needs in our community. Your support has allowed us to provide an unprecedented level of grant funding to charitable organizations in our region and to support over 460 charitable programs this year alone, answering the call to provide tens of thousands of meals to families in need, educational opportunities and supplies for hundreds of children learning virtually, childcare for parents working on the front lines of the pandemic, and so much more. We are incredibly grateful for your kindness, and we're proud to share with you what kind of an impact that your generosity is making. Congratulations again to all of the award recipients tonight. Your leadership and philanthropy has made all of the difference in our community. We're honored to work with all of you and look forward to our continued partnerships. So thank you again for joining us tonight. At the Scranton Area Community Foundation, we look forward to 2021 with anticipation and hope for what we can achieve together. And we remain as committed as ever to our leadership and our role as a convener, a catalyst, a grant maker, and a charitable partner in our region. So on behalf of the Board of Governors and the staff at the Scranton Area Community Foundation, I wish you a safe, a healthy, and peaceful holiday season and year-end.